talk. Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk. Real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. And thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking,
Girl Talk, Morris Talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Islam.
Wow.
First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to all prophets of Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honor to the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakey Bey. And I give honor to our past Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Love Ill. And I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. I give honor to all national, state, and local officials. I give honor to all sheikhs and sheikhs, all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all those who have joined us this evening, our viewers, our listeners, my sisters on the panel, and our sister B. Vaughn Ill for that beautiful intro. I am Sister Ingrid. I'm sorry. This is our season finale, and tonight's topic is godly worth versus worldly worth. I am Sister Ingrid Ill, Temple 71, Washington, D.C.
Islam. First I rise, giving praises to our Father God Allah, and honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to whom all the sister gave honors to. I give honors where honors are due. I give honors to each and every one of you. My name is Sister T. Britt Bey from Washington, D.C., Temple number 71. Peace.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I like to rise and give all praises to Allah, honor to our holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to everything that my sisters before me gave honors to each and every one of you, honors to where honor is due. Islam. I am Sister Tiffany Hopkins Bey out of Temple number 11, Philadelphia, PA. Islam, sisters.
Islam.
I give praise to the great God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to that. I give honor to everything that my sister said before me. I obviously give honor to these sisters that I have the pleasure to have this moment to do our season finale with. I give honor to our listeners, our guests, those that will be joining in on this conversation. My name is Sister A. Ravenel Bey from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York. So.
Islam. Welcome back, viewers, to our last episode of this season. Today, our topic is, again, like the sister said, godly worth versus worldly worth. This topic is very significant to me on a personal level. It's something that I struggle with for quite some time, and it happens to be a place as to where I am in my spiritual journey today. And I want to talk about it because I don't think that I'm the only one who struggled with knowing, or even knowing the difference between godly worth and worldly worth. Um, I can recall, when I was out in the world, I tried very hard to win the attention of many people in friendships and relationships, on jobs, um, being on a track team. I mean, different things. Throughout different journeys in my life, and I came across, or in the company of so many people that, and I sat and I thought about it one day, about how we value ourselves in the world first. And I'm gonna start there real quick, and I'm gonna be real short so we can get into the conversation. And I thought about, my life in the streets. I met many people. I met people that found a way to take care of themselves and make a living by the way of the streets, and not even really knowing or being able to tap into what our worth was. I don't even know if we even thought about it. And I can recall one time I went to a funeral, and there was a guy. He was a dealer, and he had passed away. And when people spoke on his behalf, a lot of what they spoke about was how much he did for the community. Um, how he paid people bills and took care of some of the brothers that was incarcerated, some of their families on the outside, things like that. And I thought to myself later in years, the things that we consider to be valued or worthy, and having a name for ourselves and things like that, but not even thinking about the many lives that was ruined to get that money to help assist those people. A lot of the families that was broken from the things that individual sold. Um, and I just thought that the glory and the shame had been misplaced when it came to us knowing our worth and our value, even out here in the world. And so I just wanted to talk about it, and me, myself personally, are just getting to a place that has been a struggle for most of my life. And I want to talk about it because I know I'm not the only one. And a lot of things that I'm finding out about the worldly worth and just being able to distinguish the difference between the two is awesome. So I just want to get into a dialogue about it. And I just want to see how my sisters are thinking about it. And some of the viewers, jump in the conversation if you want to. So let's get into it, sisters. And anybody want to start with the first question? And
You
I'll
want to
start.
start with your first question.
Okay, so I'm gonna start, and my first question is going to be: how did you find your worth spiritually? And I'm gonna start it off by saying I'm finding, because I haven't totally found it, but I'm finding my worth, my godly worth spiritually through ceremonies and forms. To be honest, it has taken things to happen in my life, on jobs, friendships, and relationships, even in my family, finding out what my worth is, and that entailed a lot of me knowing what that is myself, as opposed to wanting somebody else to acknowledge it. I looked for approval from other people for so long, and that was hard. That was hard, because I just wanted to be acknowledged, and I jumped through many hoops, trying to be accepted, trying to be appreciated. And again, I'm talking about in relationships, friendships, in my family, on jobs, wanting promotions and just doing the most, just to be noticed. And so it has come to a place in my life where I was tired. It has come to a place where I started realizing you can't be blaming other people. It can't be them. It can't be people. You need to find what your own worth is, Tracy. What does that look like? What do you mean to you? What do you value about yourself? As opposed to looking for other people to value things about you. Get that appreciation with yourself first. And so, like I said, it took me to have come through some things. And even recently, I looked at some things and I say to myself, my God, I'm here at this age and I'm still here. You know, and I had to ask myself that question. Why? Why are you still accepting this? Why are you still placing yourself here? Like, do some soul searching within you. You need to find you. You need to find you because you're not going to find it in a relationship. You're not going to find it in that friendship. You're not going to find it on that job. You're not going to find it there.
Yeah.
Everything you're looking for is within.
Yeah.
And what came to life more than anything was seek ye first the kingdom and what that kingdom is.
Mm-hmm.
Once I began that journey, some things started opening up in me, and some things were painful, but painful with a smile because I was grateful that I'm in a place today that I'm ready to accept and look at Tracy. I have wanted this for so long to know my godly worth. See, when I read real quick,
Mm-hmm.
when I read on page 44, chapter 36, instruction 2, a beast. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy creator with awe and rejoice before him with reverence. And I'm going to jump down to 10. Know thyself and the pride of his creation within thee. My glasses, hold on, wait a minute. It says, know thyself and the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare to descend to evil or to meanness. I have been giving and giving and giving and giving and giving of myself for so long, looking for something that nobody else had. Nobody. And now that I am on this journey, seeking his kingdom, the things that he is revealing to me, the things that he is doing in me, no man can do. No man can give me what Allah is giving me. And it is the most beautiful thing. I am so excited to see what else he has in store. But let me tell you, I am learning to no longer seek the approval of man. I am learning to no longer sit and take what I don't have to take because I know I am worthy of greater. I know this. I'm learning this. I don't mean to say I know. I am learning this now, and it means so much to me. And I hope this helps somebody else to know that he is in you. Allah is in you. And that's the greatest thing in the world that you can have as far as being worthy, as far as being valuable. Find your inner worth. Find your inner value in yourself and embrace it. Peace.
Peace.
Mic drop.
Sister Rebbe, listen, when you went in, and I was right there with you, riding it with you, because, man, I'm going to tell you. Repeat the question.
How did
Just
you
repeat
find,
it. I want to hear it again.
How did you find your worth spiritually?
Walking into the Morrison Symbol of America, Temple 71, West Street, real live. Because before I joined the temple, and most people who know me know that before I joined the temple, I was in a search for a home church. I have been visiting churches all over DC for months, every Sunday, sometimes with a girlfriend, sometimes by myself. And I was looking, whatever I was looking for, I wasn't getting it. I was visiting various churches and looking at what I was looking for was something I felt back home is what I was looking for. Right. And most people know I'm from Texas. I grew up in a church. I grew up Baptist, and I was looking for that feeling, and I couldn't find it. Yeah. And then I had been invited to the temple before, but this particular time I was invited to Charter Day. And when I was invited to Charter Day, of course, like I said, my heart was open because I needed some spiritual growth. I was in a situation where I just felt so weak, so soft, so mushy, right? And I was like, well, isn't this part of the reason why you change your life? So you could become soft, so you could be a lady. And I was like, yeah, but these people take full advantage of me, man. Like and I was like, they know me, like they know me from the street. And I was like, and I was just still trying to just be different, just make different decisions, move differently, right, than I used to before I was introduced to a 12-step program, right? So I went to Charter Day and I heard so many wonderful things. And I heard Brother Arla Avil get up there, and he could barely speak at the time, but I heard him. I'm just grateful that when my heart was open, that I was ready to listen and receive. Y'all already know. And I heard what I needed to hear. So after visiting the temple for a while, I was like, yo, this is it. And I almost didn't join because of the connection to how I got there. And I didn't want the individual to think that the move I was making was about them. Right. So I almost missed this blessing. I really did. I almost missed this blessing. But I was like, nah, this feels too good. It feels too right to deny myself this. So after visiting for months and months, I joined. And then as time went on, I was like, wow. And I said to the individual, I said, isn't it odd that the very place you invited me to, and this is no shade to anybody, this is just the true statement. I said, isn't it odd that the very place you invited me to gave me my spinach, my strength to end this? And his reply was, praise Allah. Praise Allah indeed. So yeah, that's my story. Peace.
Praise Allah.
Peace. Whew, praise Allah. Islam rising again, giving praises to Allah, honor to our prophet. That's heavy. That is heavy. Like it's almost as if I could sit here and listen to you sisters and just in amazement. Because your stories of your life are such blessings and inspiration to others, including myself. But for me, how did I find my worth spiritually? Very, very long path. Very long path. However, praise Allah for finding it.
Yes.
When I came into the Morrison Symbol of America, I was very young. Wet behind the ears, didn't know much. But I knew that there was something that I was craving that I needed that I hadn't had. My family wasn't, we were Christians that didn't go to church. Like, I don't know how that translates into that, but that's what we, so-called were. But when I heard Brother T. Hopkins Bey II say to me, if you think your condition can be better, then join the Moorish Science Temple of America. So I said, well, what did that mean? You know what I'm saying? I was intrigued, like, I really did at this point in my life, and I've told this story many times on this show. At that point in my life, I was like, it can't get no worse. It could not, for me, it could not have gotten any worse. And you know how, people say if you have the amount of faith as a mustard seed.
Yeah.
I did not know that the Moorish Science Temple of America was all over. I didn't know that there were other people that wore turbans. I was so ignorant to the fact that of what the Moorish Science Temple of America was about, what Islam was about. I was very, very ignorant. And I'm grateful because coming into the temple, it opened my mind. And I'll be honest and say, when I first came, my mind was not open. I think I sat for the first 6 months like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I had to make a decision at the tender age of, I believe I was 21 years old. And I was like, you know what? This is what it is. Like, this sounds right to me. This feels right to me. Mm-hmm. This has began to direct my mind, to direct my flesh to do other things. And I was a person who was in these streets. Sometimes I'm ashamed because for a woman to be in the streets, how I was in the streets, is not appealing. Mm-hmm. That's not cute. You know what I'm saying? But, and I know you sisters have different backgrounds, but in Philadelphia, in our city, it's glorified to be in the streets. Mm-hmm. So I understand what you're saying about, drug dealers being glorified for doing certain things. But I recall there was many different times when I had to cry, and y'all know I don't cry much because my sisters, praise the Lord for y'all emotional
we got
beings and how beautiful.
We got you covered.
Beautiful. But Sister T, how this way, I used to wear Timbs and jeans, and I was always harder on the exterior because that's what I had to be. It's no strange happenings. I had this conversation not too long ago with somebody, and this was the way that you had to be because of the life that you had to live in order to be where you are today. And I'm grateful. Yeah. I'm forever grateful for everything I had to go through. But when I proclaimed my nationality in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I knew that it was a change that was necessary for me. And to me, in my mind, that was the beginning of the spiritual growth. I never knew that I would ever elevate to where I am today.
Right.
It is a blessing. It is an honor because the prophet is constantly teaching you. You are constantly learning how Allah wants you to live your life through our holy and divine prophet. And in my personal opinion, I think that you will always continue to keep growing and finding your spirituality.
To me,
it's a thing that will constantly and consistently grow with you as you grow and unfold.
That's right.
So for me, that was just a tip of the iceberg, but praise Allah. Praise Allah, Morris. That's all you can say is praise Allah.
Yes.
You're right, sister. You continuously find more worth and more goodness about you as time goes on. Some things you used to go for, you don't go for anymore. Some things the things I used to do, I don't do no more. Some stuff I used to go for, I ain't going for no more. The way I used to let you carry me, I don't let you do that no more. So every round gets higher and higher, you know. And Sister Hopkins Bay, I just started wearing dresses by choice after the age of 30. So don't feel no way.
and I just wanted to say briefly, the way you think and the way you talk to people and the way you interact, those things show your growth as well. I am so grateful to be a person that says when certain things come up, because I used to be for that rah-rah stuff. And I'm so grateful to be like, it is not even worth my voice. It's not even worth my thoughts. I am not entertaining it.
Right.
I'm not even going to entertain it. Listen, that is so much peace and so much power to know that you do not have to react.
Mm-hmm.
You could just keep it moving. Oh, okay. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Mhm.
Praise the Lord.
Praise Allah, sisters. You
Praise
all
God.
are speaking the truth. You
Mhm.
know, your truth, but it's so many of our truths. It's everybody's truth in many way. You know, we all have different paths, but as you all know and viewers know, I grew up in the temple. And this when the sister said every round goes higher and higher, that was exactly what I was thinking. Because, and I always give honors to those that choose to make a decision.
Yes.
There's many members that were born. That don't mean they stay. The prophet had thousands of members in each state, but generationally, who chose, that's different. And when you choose, when it's on your own will, like Sister Griot said, she might have came in one way, but she chose this for her own. That's a really significant thing. So I want to just acknowledge that, because I think that makes a huge difference in people's lives. And when I was a child, you look at these lessons in degrees. You can only learn what you can learn at 6, 8, 12, 14, whatever. But I will say that I think the unlock for me was probably in high school, middle school, high school. Because at that point, as every child, probably a lot of children, I should say, experience, you come from that, maybe being around family and people that your parents choose you to be around people that you may not necessarily choose. And it's about ego, it's about how you present as a woman. And growing up Moorish American, there was a standard that I had to be that wasn't always
Praise
respected and
Allah.
honored,
Yeah.
and tested who you want to be when you get to school. How do you want to show up? How do you handle it? You know what you were taught, but how do you show up? And dealing with the world and dealing with other people and how they think about things, it had me kind of had to go deep in my own spiritual growth.
Mm.
And there's one chapter, you heard the chapter that I was originally going to read, says on Know Thyself. But the
Mm-hmm.
chapter that really unlocked it for me, because you say, well, how did you find your worth spiritually? You've been told as a child that you and Allah are one. You are told these things, but you got to actually know it. You
Yes.
got to go through something. That's
Yes.
how we learn. We don't learn. A block of wood could do the same.
Yes.
Somebody could tell you what to do. Somebody can tell you how to act when something bad happens. But when you in it, you then got to actually do it. And so for me, it was learning that chapter in Creation of Fall of Man. I never could understand it. It was gobbledygook when as a child. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. When we done, that was for me. But when I start, I'll never forget. It was in a meeting, and that's why I think the Friday meetings are important, because you can't talk. You just sit and listen,
Listen.
because that's a way for Allah to speak. It was unlocking. I'm gonna read on Creation Fall of Man, where he says here, man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past into the never-ending days to come, and so is man, the
Mm.
spirit man.
Mm-hmm.
It was the unlocking for me that we were a spirit. It was the connection that I was like, oh yeah, we have a spirit. Yeah, got it. Remember that. No. We have potencies of Allah within us.
Yes.
And when I figured, I was like, oh, so it's more than just I'm connected. How Allah shows up in the world, I got pieces of that in me.
Yes.
And then the levels come to me. It's like what Sister Hopkins Bay said was perfect. It's a continual journey. How many potencies does Allah have? How many beautifications of Allah have? And to know that that's within us, we got to unlock that.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it was when I was having difficulties, really trying to realize, not feeling great about my self-worth, feeling ashamed that during that time, because it's like, do I really want to be a Muslim? People are saying certain things, not feeling like I had my voice to speak up, because I was by myself. I wasn't in a school where I had siblings that were there. I was in a school that, was a school that was supposed to help prepare me for school, but it was a Christian school. And honestly, there was one friend I had at first, and he was Jewish because we both felt like the outsiders. Okay. Because when people were slanging words and calling you whatever they want to call you, they didn't care about you. And I'm like, ain't this supposed to be a religious school? And everybody's supposed to be, ain't they supposed to be loving? Like, what happened here? But really, it made me grapple to say, at that point, I realized why, for me, and I saw others, why people who may have grown up chose other ways. Because
Mhm.
it's hard to stand on these principles. It's hard to be on there, particularly as a child. It's hard when life is throwing different things at you. And your parents, you have expectations of how you're supposed to show up. So to me, the real test is what happened when you get out your mama house?
Yeah.
When nobody's not taking you on Friday and Sunday,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And that's why I'm very compassionate for those that maybe have grown up and stepped away, for whatever the reasons have been, because it is a spiritual growth. And so for me, that was where a time where I started to realize in order to overcome those things, I had to pretend in my head, remember that it was like, okay, you got Allah in you.
Mhm.
You need to go deep to be able to manage that and work with that. And so for me, that was really an unlocking. And honestly, if I didn't have that experience of being taunted and being pushed and being bullied and all the stuff that you don't want your child to go through, right? And having those lessons come from me,
Yeah.
and then still make it through, I realized at that point, Allah had me. Just get back up. Just get back up. Allah got me. And I knew that, okay, the journey will be rough,
Yeah.
but Allah got me.
Praise Allah.
Mhm.
I
Allah
commend
is
you
me.
as a child being able to get through that because you had so many options that you could have chosen to go, so many ways to go, and that's strong. That's real
Yeah,
strong. That you were able
absolutely.
to make that decision to, stand fast in your
Yeah.
faith.
I
That's
give you
good.
honors as well,
That's
sister,
good.
because I, I'm sorry, sister Bridget, I didn't mean to cut into you
No,
like
I'm
that.
fine. I was finished. I was finished.
I just want to give you honors as well because I wasn't born in the temple. I came in the temple in 2011, and since I've been in the temple, I've seen people who were born in the temple not come back to temple here and there, and so on and so forth. But praise the law, praise
Mhm.
the law that we had a prophet to guide us out there when we out there.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, praise Allah. And I think like the other two sisters, you have a story too, because at times we don't realize the impact that we have on other people. I'm surrounded by um a lot of young Moors, and especially with my children, and I don't want them to get to the point where um they get old enough to make their own decisions and choose differently. And so I try to make sure that they understand certain things. But finding their own worth and spiritually is going to be ultimately up to them. Um, we can do as their parents, but it's ultimately going to be up to them. And I think that's just is truly important.
It's a
Truly important.
personal, it's a personal relation. I mean, I tell it to my children all the time. I say, you
Mhm.
know what? My prayer is that you have a relationship with Allah, not because I'm
Mhm.
telling you to, because
Right.
Yeah,
for me, and every adult that I met,
Mhm.
every person I talked to who is elected as adults, they had a moment with Allah.
Mhm.
They saw something to change your condition better. When you're a child, your condition is
Mhm.
created. So I
Right.
tell them all the time,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I tell them all the time, my gift, I pray Allah that you have a relationship with Allah. Because the faster you
Mhm.
get that deep relationship where you realize he is the husband man, he is
Mhm.
giving you so many things. Even if you walk out and you don't come consistently, you'll at least know that. And when you'll know where to go back to get what I call juice back up. You want to get, where it
Mhm.
comes from. But when you don't have
Mhm.
that relationship, I've seen our temple was full of children.
Mhm.
We 221, we were full of children. One family had six. One other
Mhm.
family had, I mean, similar to a lot, and I look, three, three. 3 consistently, of that crew that grew up.
Wow.
And it's funny because we talk about that, and it's like, I think it's important for children to experience life and get beat up a bit.
Exactly.
Even though I'm a
Exactly.
parent, it hurts because you got to go through some tough things to know how
Yeah.
to get through them.
Yeah.
And when you go through them, you'll realize what Allah has given you. See, because when the adults come through, sometimes they gone through something. Y'all
Mhm.
went through something.
Yeah.
You were
Mm.
seeking the peace, and Allah was there for you. So I pray that you don't want your children to get beat up around, but you just need them to know the value of this movement and your own spiritual worth.
That's right.
Because the
Mhm.
world, we're going to go into that later, but the godly worth, that's all that people see and hear,
That's right. Right.
And in that same spirit, I'm not here to pull nobody else's weeds. Not while my own yard needs fertilizing itself.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think having a worldly self gives a person a false sense of themselves? Excuse me. Do you think having worldly self-worth gives a person a false sense of themselves?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It had me not even knowing who I was.
Mm-hmm.
It had me trying to be what I saw in someone else, or what I thought somebody wanted me to be, or how to be. It was, yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I just didn't have a clue as to who I was, and now taking on all these different personalities, and then I truly was lost, almost like mental issues, almost like, you know what I'm saying, because I just didn't have my own identity.
Mm.
I was scared to speak up when I knew I should, just, yeah, I don't want to go back to that. And it was because of a recent experience in my spiritual journey that I saw that same behavior. I saw it again, and I'm like, why? Tracy, like, what's up with you? Why do you sit in places that you just ain't no seat there for you? You keep trying to make a seat there for you. There's no seat there.
Mm-mm-mm.
And stop carrying yourself as if you're not worthy to have a seat, but in the right place.
Mm.
Want to have a seat, but
Mhm.
know where you want to be seated.
That part.
Know where you want to be placed. Keep placing yourself in these places, child. So, yeah,
Mm.
don't
Yeah.
want to go back there. Don't want to go back there. But
Praise
yes,
God.
you do lose. I did have a false sense of myself up until 58 years old. And I just turned 59.
Praise God.
It's time for the shackles to be cut, though. Yeah, we cutting them. We cutting them.
Mm.
So I'll just say to that question, this question was great because it made me think, what is, let's get into what worldly self-worth is.
Mhm.
Because you got to be able to distinguish truth from error. And,
Mhm.
that self-worth, what gives you self-worth? That's the real question to me, and
Yeah.
being in this Morris American, being a spirit with a soul on this carnal world, it can be difficult for us
Mm.
to say Rav and obey. The self-worth that, I have to, you have to make certain kind of money. You got to live a certain way. You got to, all those things that society may tell you or you think you need to be,
Mhm.
and, when it said sitting in certain seats, I remember I got this one time, I got this job and I got this promotion and I didn't feel worthy to be there at all. I didn't feel worthy to be there. And I didn't feel worthy because everybody around me had all these other accolades and education that I didn't have. And I remember someone at that time who helped get me in that room said, all of that is false. Like, if you have the information if you have whatever it takes, you're just as good as everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so stop trying to chase something or think that you need to have something to not be there. And it was a gentle reminder for me, because it's like Allah put whatever I needed enough
Mhm.
to be there, whether it's work, whether it's even in the temple, whether it's,
That's it.
if you're cooking, whatever it is, Allah
Mhm.
gave you enough. If you broke and tired and broke, and trust me, I've been there. When you're real broke, you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not worthy because I can't do whatever I need to do. The fact
Uh-huh.
that Allah allowed you to wake up that next day,
You
you're
better
worthy to
say
be
it.
here.
You better
That's
say
You're
right.
it.
worthy to
You
be.
better
You're
say
worthy to
it.
be here, and you're
Yes.
worthy to keep doing my work.
Yeah.
That's right.
Keep
Absolutely.
doing my work, right? So whatever the situation can be, but it's important for
Mm.
us to have that personal conversation, because everybody's what they think they worthy for might be different.
Mm.
What's important to you? Because I'll speak from my perspective again. I like to take all that away. You still have
Yeah.
worth. That's when
Mm.
your spiritual worth comes through.
Yeah.
Can you still wake
Yeah.
up and pray for him?
Yeah.
You could look at your baby now and say, it ain't happening today. I can't buy that today. And I
Mm.
might not be able to buy it tomorrow. But you're worthy. I'm worthy. And we're going to be
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Praise Allah. That's a lot. And so beautiful, because the unfoldment and the understanding. Yeah, I've been there. And I recall there was a situation, or there was years of situations where I felt like I was unworthy of being a mother, a wife, like. And honestly, I went through certain stages of feeling like, am I supposed to give it back? Like, am I supposed to not be grateful? I just, sometimes we go through this thing, and I can only speak about myself. You go through these things where you're at certain tables, as Sister Brooke Bay said, and you are the only one that's like you. And everybody wants to make you feel like there's something wrong with you, because you're not doing what they want you to do, or you're not speaking how they want you to speak. I can only say, for me, I had to get to a point where I was like, I'm enough. I'm enough just being who I am. I am enough. Because I'm not, I don't want to say that. Because I'm not following behind you to be for you to want to be around me or be my best friend or whatever the case may be, because I'm not like trying to please you. And that's the thing, it's people pleasing. At times, I was in
Yeah.
many circles where people wanted me to please them. It was like, what can you do for me? What will you do for me? And I had to, and I'm gonna be honest, I did it for some years until I got to a point that was like, whether I keep doing this for you today or tomorrow, you still gonna keep feeling the same way you feel about me. So at the end of the day, let me just be myself and know that I'm enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally remember I was 31. I was pregnant with Royal. Everybody knows Royal, my last child. And I literally just woke up one morning and was like, they are going to keep feeling however they feel about you. They're going to keep saying whatever they say about you. Now it's time for you to be yourself. Do what you want, do what you feel, as long as it's in honor of who you say you are, of being a Moorish American Muslim. Keep being you, because you haven't done anything wrong. And I think also, when other people outside of this particular group started to just show me kindness, just like, I'll never forget Sister A. Lattimore Bay. Some of you know her. She came into the temple and felt so spiritually connected to me that I felt like something must be wrong with her, because I've been told by certain people for so long that you always look like you have an attitude. You always have a problem. Like, I don't even understand where that came from. Like, I don't even, and then at the same time, at times you don't know what your countenance looks like to other people.
Right.
So maybe I did. But in the name of Islam, where was the love enough to say, are you okay? Sister, are you
Mhm.
okay? Do you need anything? Can I help you with something? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I
And
do.
praise Allah for knowing and understanding that itself, because I vowed to make sure that when I see somebody going through something, I ask them, are you okay? Is this something that you need? How can I help you?
Showing
I'm
that
not going to
compassion.
assume you got an attitude just because I don't know what you're going through. Just like nobody
Exactly.
knew what
That's right.
I was going through.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
had to wake up and recognize that that seat at that particular table, I didn't no longer need to be a part of, because I had my own seat at my own table. Now, how about that?
Praise Allah. But you know, sis, when you just even said that, I made me think, you can't assume. We're not supposed to be assuming that you
Right.
could just maybe, to me in Islam, it's my job or duty to be a friend to mankind,
That's right.
right? So instead of even saying, is there something wrong? What about Islam, sis? How you doing? Just
Right.
take the friend route.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, again, if you don't even know, you could be thinking, I mean, people sometimes like, you looking what I'm not even thinking about you. You know
Right.
what I'm thinking about?
Right.
I'm thinking about that hole that just happened in the house and how I'm gonna figure that out. It just happened to be on my
Okay.
face.
Yes.
Sometimes I ain't even think you ain't that special sometimes. Right? It's like not
Mm.
everybody's thinking about you all the time. Just
Yeah.
be a friend. Be friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
That's an instruction. That's not a request from the prophet. That's an
Yeah.
Right.
instruction.
Islam.
Yeah.
Islam. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
You know, sisters, y'all said a lot because you're right. Reading someone's face doesn't mean something's wrong. It may be something wrong. Ask.
Right.
Don't assume that it's an attitude or they upset or whatever. And if it is an attitude or they upset, ask. See how you
Yeah.
can
Is
assist them.
everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
See how you can assist them. If you don't want to, then don't concern yourself with why they looking like that. It's real simple. Real simple.
Mhm.
Praise God.
And yeah, there was time where I didn't feel self-worth from the world. But I put my own self in that feeling.
Hey.
You know, you can have like just living it up one night and having all this money, then you look up and it's like 7, 8 in the morning. You by yourself, you broke, the birds are singing, and you angry because you feel about this small.
Yeah.
Mm.
Eh,
Say it.
yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now you just had about $350, yeah, like not even 12 hours ago, and you don't have no food, you don't have no toilet paper, you don't have no money to wash clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But these birds are singing real good, and you
Yes, they
upset
are.
about it, right? They doing what they've been instructed to do already. They rejoicing, and you mad. Yeah, I felt low as a footprint.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And
Remember
that's
them
just one
days.
example
Mm-hmm.
of me of me
Yeah.
not feeling like I'm supposed to be feeling what Allah already
Mhm.
gave in me, because I did that to myself. Nobody gave me that feeling. I
That's
put that
it right
own
there,
feeling on
sis.
myself.
That's it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Me,
Mhm. And since when you were saying it, the question, does it give you a false sense of themselves?
Yeah.
Even if
yeah,
you are
it gave
broke.
me a false sense of myself in the
Yes.
moment.
And
Yeah,
it
because
is.
Yeah.
I know that with all that I knew about myself leading up to that moment, I grabbed none of it. I
Mm.
grabbed none of it.
Mhm.
I know it was
Mhm.
a good friend. At the time, I know it was a good mother before she got snatched up. Yeah, my daughter was snatched up in front of my building. Before that, I was a good employee. I was a good girlfriend, all those things before that happened. But I grabbed, and a good door. I was done. I grabbed none of that in that moment. So yeah, I had a false sense of who I was in that moment.
Yeah.
And it
Mhm.
wasn't the false sense of being this wonderful person. I had the false sense of not being a wonderful person at all. Like I felt really,
Yeah.
really low.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm. I'd have to say, I feel like when we have these moments, particularly when we have these teachings,
Mhm.
it's just a test to make sure we know where we are.
Huh.
That's it.
Mhm.
To me, it feels heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that it feels heavier because it's like, oh, I know these lessons. I know that I'm not showing up where I need to be. So I didn't learn the lesson enough. I'm gonna be I'm still a spirit man. I still have the potencies of Allah, even with all the situation that's swirling around me. And we got to keep saying it and keep doing it and keep going through these experiences. Jesus went
Right.
through by
Yeah.
choice. Why? So he could secure those in need. And I always think about that. He wanted to know so he can be there to help others. And if he's the pattern, then I got to go through it. Why?
Yeah.
To secure those in need.
Yeah.
That's why we got those special moments. It's not just because, oh, whoa, me. It's because we got to be able to help others because we know what it's like. We're more connected than we think sometimes.
Facts.
Wow.
Praise Allah. And also to add on to that, I was thinking when the sister was talking, at times, at times, just knowing that you have within you, Allah is within you. I think that at times for me, I didn't even take that into consideration because it was like when you've been told for so long that you are this, you are that, you start to embody that. Like, do I always got an attitude? Do I always have a problem? You know what I'm saying? So it was so deep to me to find out that, and I'm telling you, transformation is so real. Faith in Allah is so real because there's many times that I was like, I just don't want to deal with certain people anymore. I can't. Everything I do is wrong. And when you come from struggle, right? You've had to struggle with certain things in life. So that example of women, strong women, like the women I saw growing up, they were strong women. Like I could take care of my children, like single mothers, or I can have a job and take care of my house and stuff like that. But when it came to like the strength of your spirituality or saying no to people who didn't mean you any good, I didn't grow up seeing that. So for me, it was like you're supposed to be treated a certain way by certain people, and how dare you say that you are opposite from what they are telling you that you are? How dare you? Because other people see you, so what they see from you is what you are from their perspective. And so just to be able to wake up and have the mindset of I don't have to accept that. I don't have to take on what you're giving me. I don't have to wear that burden that you put on me because that's how you feel. Because honestly, if we're being honest and true to ourselves, anybody that puts on negativity to another person, you yourself are dealing with something. Yourself have issues that you need to work out, because at the end of the day, we are supposed to love and respect and try to build each other up and not tear each other down. So in order for me to know that came from the lessons of our prophet. And that those things, I'm forever grateful, because those things are the things that spoke to me when I was in my deepest, darkest moments and needed, because there was no man out here that could say anything to me to get me to think on a different level. That was nothing but Allah through the prophet. Nothing.
You had that relationship. You had his that you had it. That's it.
There's Allah. That's still small voice.
That's real. That's real. You know, Sister Faith, you said a lot. I remember being in a relationship with a much older gentleman, and let me just say that what we be thinking what we're gonna get in certain situations, and what we get, it be so opposite of what we get. You just can't help but laugh about it now, right? But of course, you know, in my mind, I was gonna be with this older gentleman who could teach me some stuff, right? I mean, I found myself being more browbeaten and belittled by the time I realized it was happening. it had been 3 years.
Mhm.
By the
Yeah.
time I realized it was happening. And I was like, he was like, you know, you need to take your dignity back, and this and that and the other. I failed to mention that we both are in the 12-step anonymous program. So that place gets real busy with a bunch of conversation, right? So over the years, there's been conversation that he's heard of, you know, regarding me. And I say, you know, I will take my dignity back. I'm gonna take it back from you,
Mhm.
because you're the only one giving me issues. All
Mhm.
these things you worry about with people saying this and that, and other, instead of saying hope, I don't want to hear it, so on and so forth. You might entertain it. So you're right. I'm gonna take my dignity back and move on from this situation. And I worked up the courage enough to say, again, I can't be in this situation. I have to move on. And that was one of the hardest things I had to do. But as we said, you know, each round gets higher and higher, and you learn what you can't accept anymore. You know,
Mhm.
I realized that what I thought I was about to receive was just not it. And
Mhm.
sometimes we try to figure out why we stay connected, because we want to see what our mind tells us is going to be there. See, we be
Yeah.
Right.
creating a person that ain't showed us what we looking for, but say we waiting for it to pop up. And I don't understand why we do that as humans. But praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
Thank you.
Like I just,
Thank you.
like you can see great ill. What's happening?
Yeah.
You know,
How
but
about
praise
that?
Allah,
How
all
about
times and not
that?
alike. And praise Allah that everything that has a beginning has an
It's an
end.
end. That's right. Praise
Well,
Allah.
you right on time, because we need some closing thoughts, and that felt like one for sure. Anyone else got some closing thoughts that they want to share on this topic?
Ooh.
No.
Love on yourself, be
Yeah.
kind to others, obey the prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I think the only thing I can say is continue to know thyself and thy Father God Allah.
Yes.
Mm.
If you
I
don't take
concur with that.
time to know thyself, you won't know your godly worth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you can't blame nobody else for that. But
Yeah,
yourself.
Mm.
because the prophet has taken away all our excuses. He really
Yes.
has. He really
Yeah.
has.
I've been wanting
Yeah.
to put it on somebody else bad, but I can't.
Praise Allah.
I mean, what is it where it's, if you want to see your savior's within yourself.
That's
You
right.
know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
I can't pull it, but that's when you just said, I was like, yeah. I mean, we can't even blame nobody else. When the
Praise
sister
Allah.
said, "I'm take back my dignity," she took it back.
Facts.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you, sisters. This was an amazing season finale show. Thank you, viewers, for being a part of this conversation with us. We pray that you find something that might have resonated with you. If so,
Mhm.
please like it. Please share this conversation. Please let us know in your comments of how things are feeling for you. Of course, on Fridays, we have our Holy Day meeting, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here. You can find it here on our Facebook or YouTube, Sakara Sacred Healing. They also have their shows on Wednesdays. You can also follow and subscribe to them. But for us, it's our season finale. We're about to take a break, and we want to just say thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us. And as always, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a choice. All right, sisters, it was wonderful. We're going to go ahead and close out with our amazing outro by Sister Vaughniel and our visuals by our dear brother T. Hopkins Bay.
Nah, that's right.
Girl talk. Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Morris talk, real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Morris talking, real talk. talk. We're building when I'm more than talking, more is talk, real talk, real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it.